Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to our podcast, How We Do. Today I have the pleasure to talk with Jacob Seet, General Manager of Robert Bosch Southeast Asia, in charge of the Myanmar Representative Office. Good morning, Jacob. How are you doing?
Hi, Martin. Thank you so much for inviting me to do this podcast. I think we are all doing our best in this very difficult period, and I'm happy to hear that you are keeping well as well.
Thank you. Yes, we are coming back to some sort of routine working in the office, and it feels good, even though, of course, different than before with extra security. So, Jacob, my first question is what was the biggest challenge for Bosch in Myanmar during the COVID-19 outbreak, and how did you manage your team?
Right. I think that is a very, very good question. I think for us, the biggest problem that we faced was really about communication. Firstly, communication within our team, because that also meant that we have to do a work from home basis, and people have to very often use, for example, Skype or different phone calls, using a lot of email to communicate with each other. So that actually dramatically increases the chances for miscommunication within the team as well. Because if you don't see the person, sometimes you may not get the full intent of what they're trying to communicate. And this is more true actually when we are talking about communication with our customers and our partners. How do we keep the communication with them going? That was very difficult. Especially if you think about ASEAN as a region, a lot of our communication is a lot of body language. How are they saying what they're saying? What tone are they using? Are there pauses? What expressions are they showing? That actually communicates a lot of their intent. So when you're doing this via the phone call, it's sometimes a bit more difficult. Or when you're doing via email, it's almost impossible to get these nuances. So at the end of the day, we had to find a way to slowly bridge that gap to make sure that we did it well. And at the same time, we are also not able to visit our customers at their shops. How are we going to do this meaningfully in a remote way? That was a very, very big challenge. So much so that we understand a lot of our partners are very uncertain about the business climate. They don't want to risk their employees' health, and they also choose to shut their business indefinitely, at least in April. And we are starting to see many of them restart in May. So all these together, I think, pose a very big obstacle for our team and how we manage. Looking at this, how did we try to tackle these problems? I have to say we don't have a perfect solution because the situation is so fluid. But our first and most important concern is always our employees and customers' health. So I very openly tell all my staff, I say that your health and that our customers' health is most important. Yeah, it's more important than the current business that you are doing today. And why? Because if someone is infected, the repercussions for that are so serious and it can last much longer. So the key message I give them is always take care of your health portion, and taking care of your health is actually good for the business as well. Yeah. And I think the other thing that we try to do to manage our team and the business, and just to answer your question, is that we try to be very clear with our instructions and also at the same time very transparent with my team. So what this means is that with the outbreak of this COVID crisis, what is the impact on the company? What is the impact on the team in terms of supply chain, in terms of logistics, in terms of HR impact? What is it exactly? How are we affected? I was very transparent with my team, and I had a sit-down session with them to answer all the questions that they need. And why this was so important for me was because when you make it clear to your employees what is happening, people will, if you do not do it rather, people will start imagining and they're forming their own thinking about situations. And many times this is worse than what reality is, and it's very bad for the business and the morale. So I really urge other people who are in similar situations to communicate very clearly and at the same time be transparent. So if there are any bad news as a result of this COVID crisis, be as transparent as possible. Trust that your staff is mature enough to understand the rationale behind different business decisions, and they can individually manage the risk. So I would say that's how we manage it so far, Martin.
Okay. And now we are here at least in Myanmar at a time where business is slowly moving into the direction of going back to some sort of a new normal. Restaurants are opening again, and many companies are coming out of the home office scenario. So my second question would be, how are you overcoming this? How are you handling the exit of this quarantine scenario?
Well, we have been in this, let's just say, affected by this COVID for at least, I would say, the past 2 months or so easily, yeah, maybe even more. Thankfully, our supply chain was not badly affected through this period. So it means that when we needed products, when we needed any delivery, things were still okay. And throughout the past months, we have kept very close contacts with all our customers and partners. It was challenging at the start, but we made sure that the rapport and the contact was still there. This also meant that we have a very clear understanding of how these partners were affected throughout this period, both in terms of their business and also in terms of their personal life. I had a customer that went overseas and came back and was quarantined and in one of the facilities. So then I actually frequently check out with him to understand how is he feeling mentally, emotionally, because that has a direct impact on our business relationship anyway. And now with the gradual restarting of most businesses, because we kept in such close contact, we are very quickly able to catch up to our original momentum. Primarily, I feel it's because we kept the rapport and trust with our customer throughout this period. They know that BOSCH will be with them there throughout this difficult period. So as we restart, we are starting to see a new way of doing business. So for our team, I made it very clear, we take our hygiene very seriously in the office. And safe distancing is really the number one rule. If any of us see another colleague that is not practicing good hygiene or good safe distancing, I actually see employees reminding each other, please wash your hands more often. After you have eaten, please wash your bowls and plates. Please keep your social distancing. And social distancing is the number one rule. So it's very encouraging to see that this idea has taken hold within the entire team. So that the best way of avoiding is so that everybody remind each other. And that is our new way of doing business.
Okay.
Now, on the business front, I think we're also seeing restarting more visits to our customer shops and finding out what their on-the-ground difficulties they are facing. Yeah? So a lot of our customers are mom and pop shops sometimes as well. We, as a larger MNC, we want to see how can we help them. Is it in terms of best practices for communicating with their customers? It could be helping them to streamline their inventory risk. At the end of the day, honestly, Martin, I believe that if the customer wins, we win as well, and so we want to make sure everybody gets through this together.
Absolutely. Totally agree. Last question, Jacob. Any lessons learned?
There's so many lessons anyone could have learned from this crisis. It was such a unpredictable event. It caught us all, I believe, by surprise. I think the first lesson, I have two lessons that I primarily want to take out of this. The first lesson that I learned was that the world has changed, and we cannot stick to our old way of doing businesses. If we try to forcefully go back to our old way, we will actually realize that other people have moved on. They have now realized a new way of doing business, and the only way forward is to really relook at how your business is. So if you look at social distancing, travel restrictions, what does that mean? We know that this will carry on for much longer, and we need to adapt our business models, our ways of interactions with our stakeholders to factor this in. Now, this not only means using digital technology. Using digital technology could be tricky because not everyone has the access or the knowledge of the same digital tools. It actually, what is more fundamental, it means calibrating our expectations on the deliverables, both within our team and within our customers, and the mutual understanding of that. I believe in being very empathetic to understand what challenges the other party might be facing during this very difficult time, and in trying to do the same thing that they were trying to do before. So empathy was a very big lesson for me there. And the second lesson that I learned, Martin, I would say, it really crystallized in me what is the core value of our business as BOSCH. What do we stand for as a business? What is our strong competitive advantage? And for me, that is really the people. Is the employees and staff, my team, that is working very hard through this period. So I'm very, very fortunate to have a team of very energetic, proactive staff that willing to go the distance to ensure that our customers' needs are heard and addressed in these very difficult times. So when I look at this, it's very heartening for me because this crisis actually became a very good opportunity for my staff to rise up to the challenge and show their leadership skills in a way that address the problems. And as a result, I'm starting to see accelerated growth in all of them. Their learning process within my team has accelerated so much more. So it's very heartening for me. I highly encourage other people who are listening to this podcast, think about how can you really step up during this pandemic to show your leadership skills. I know it's a pandemic, but this has also given us the chance to learn much faster. And honestly, I'm very thankful for that. I look on the bright side and I hope to be able to bring more positive message to everyone here as well.
Great. Thank you, Jacob. Good lesson learned. I could not agree more with you. Would like to thank you very much indeed to join me on this podcast. Hope that you and your team are staying healthy and your business will strive. First and foremost, I do hope that we will see us again rather sooner than later.
Definitely.
Have a good day. And
yeah, thank you, Martin, for inviting me for this podcast. I wish all our listeners stay safe, keep healthy, and hope to see everyone in better times again. Thank you.